Thanks for that, Rob. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Again, it's quite pertinent that we go on to the next kind of exploration of the issue. Is about what do you think should be the relationship between artists and the so-called West? And we discussed this before the event, so it would be interesting to hear you develop the point. For example, what do you think should be the relationship? And are there tensions of relationship between artists based in the West who are trying to advocate through their revolutionary art, for the struggles of the global South or our homelands?
There are tensions in the sense that some people might feel the need to not be as expressive in their art because of the pressures that they might have or the comeback they might have for doing that. But if art is truly what it's supposed to be, an expression, then it's like the freedom of the mind. You know, you have to reflect how you feel, no matter what the circumstances are, or what may happen in return. And in the end, if we're always told we have certain, privileges of rights here, if we can't even express ourselves through our art, then we're what's left. And that's like the last piece to go. So now we have to be openly vocal through our. For me, it'll be through my art, openly vocal in my art, and that don't really. You don't set out to offend anyone, but if it's how you feel and someone takes offense to it, then so be it. That's the way I would look at it. Only because I'm someone who's born in this background and the circumstances I'm born in doesn't give me. I don't necessarily have to prescribe to a certain way. I'm free to think what I want. So if I, for example, if it was something about imperialism, if I have certain views about imperialism, and I live in an imperialist country, an ex-empire, that's just circumstance. I think it's more necessary for me to say what I say, or do what I do in that circumstance.
And we've got a few of our youngsters in the audience, which is nice to see. And their respected mother, obviously, as well. Nice to have all of them here. But I mean, reflecting especially on our children.
Yeah.
Now, children are naturally attuned to artistic expression, and that's a beautiful thing I can see in our children. I mean, do you have any reflections on especially the kind of it's quite cold language, but a strategic outlook towards our children and the role art can play in perhaps kind of raising them through that.
It's no doubt that when you're young, you kind of like you sap into everything that's you're told, and your mind could grow with creativity. I know we talked about this earlier briefly, but when I do art, I'm thinking I shouldn't be doing this. Not in the sense that it's not important or it doesn't give someone something, because it gives me a lot. It gives me therapy. If I don't do this, I'll go crazy. That's the God honest truth. But so for me, it's been that, and the fact that people like it has just been a bonus. But my hopes are that people in the circumstance, they should be allowed to tell their story. Which is a child in Gaza, he or she should be allowed to tell the story of what's happening to them. But they don't have the facility and we don't have the means to help them to do that. And my aim is to ensure that happens somehow. If I could do it through my art for the moment, but this will always be like secondary for me. My plan is for that to happen where I could provide the facility for someone to do that, and to support them in any way I can, so they could reflect their reality, and of course they could reflect it far better than someone here. Plush environment. I don't have bombs falling on my head. I'd have to cover my nephew's ears, from the sounds. So as much as I feel for those people, I could never truly feel what they feel. In that way, I consider my art probably expendable. It doesn't mean anything in that regard. That's how I feel.
I mean, you touched upon a bit of how you want your art to develop.
Yeah.
I suppose it's important for us because there'll be other artists as well, young artists as well, who'll be looking to you. I mean, whether you want to be or not, you will by default be a kind of mentor, a revolutionary artist mentor, an example, a role model or a goal model, however you want to term the issue. Mm-hmm. But in terms of developing your, obviously IHRC are here to support your work, and to promote that, and I'm sure through this, you know, there'll be other avenues opening up. But there's obviously challenges
Yeah.
when we are not funded by any great institutions or backup. And so, what do you think are the challenges in terms of the development of your art in the service of our people and their struggles?
Because I've been on a convoy to Gaza, and I've experienced some people acting in ways which I would not expect. I don't want to be the sort of person who profits from the misery of others. And it makes me feel really uncomfortable deeply from inside. I don't want, and I'll give the impression I'm doing that. Make them give the impression. But I also know, you know, like they say, money's the root of all evil. No money's root of all evil as well. If you have no money, you can't help anyone. You know, you kind of, you know, and so, but many people do many good things. It's just like the channels we go through, we always try the same measures. You know, so we give money to the mosques or someone raising money for a charity or whatever. I don't truly believe it gets to the people it should be getting to. So we have to change the way we think. And as far as art's concerned, it's a medium to do something. I mean, we've got two great artists here who I respect and inspire me a lot. I look up to these young people. I'm still relatively young, but I look at, they're light years ahead from where I was at that age. I had no means of expressing myself. So the fact we have a platform, or an occasion like today where an organisation like IHRC has given me the opportunity to showcase my work, we need to do more of this and encourage young people to express themselves in a positive light, because we're always getting the negative side from the media, always projecting us in a certain way. So if you could do it in a positive way, then I think that's good.
As we were discussing before, in terms of our brotherhood and sisterhood and our community, no one but ourselves are going to support each other and help each other. So IHRC are obviously here, and I'm sure out of this, with our organisation and other individuals, we'll come up with other initiatives and ideas on how to develop this and how to support each other. Because we've only got each other, really.
Yeah, true.
So which is important.
Yeah.
I mean, what would be your message? I mean, you touched upon younger brothers and sisters who absolutely are inspiring, and they're an example to us as well, in terms of their brilliance and their creativity. Well, what would your message be to younger people who are looking at events like this and the individuals here and the expression? Is any kind of guiding kind of advice you would like to kind of impart to them?
Don't be afraid to spread, or say wherever medium is, either through visual means or the spoken word or whatever. Say what you feel. Shouldn't be so. Sometimes we kind of convince ourselves, if you know something's bad, like Gaza's under attack at the moment. I haven't seen TV for the last week because I'm sick of seeing the same things. It's not because I don't care. I'm still aware I'm reading about it, but I can't see the pictures. I don't want to hear the sounds, and I don't want to see the media stream presented in the way there is through the normal, media, Western media. It's almost like there's a war going on there, and there's two sides constantly at war, and it's a long history of it, and it's not a war at all. So when I see things like that, I think we should have people in media present our view. And I know there's a few channels that are doing that, but they still don't reach the mainstream. So we need people, especially in prominent positions. One person I admire is Mehdi Hassan. He's in a prominent position. He writes for the Huffington Post. I think he was a New Statesman before that. And people admire him because he's vocal and very charismatic in what he says. But more important, he's very intelligent in what he says. And that's one thing I always loved Malcolm for. As we keep going back to Malcolm, I always loved Malcolm for that very reason. Because he was critical about things. He always gave critical thinking and an argument to it. So when he said the white man's the devil, at the time he was the Nation of Islam. When I was young, when I first read Malcolm X's book, I could see what was happening. I'm not prejudiced or racist or anything like that. But I could see if I lived in those circumstances, I would reach the same conclusion. How could he not be the devil? But of course, like I said, he transformed his views over time. I think art gives us a position. So I may not think about certain things a certain way 50 years from now, maybe not. But for that to happen, things will have to change. And like I said, we can't be using the same measures all the time because we get the same results. So we have to support young people, get them into positions where they could get our narrative up. You know, we don't want other people telling our story. Yeah.
Before I ask Sister Sana to come back and say a few more pieces of you to recite yours and one of yourself, is there any particular piece that you like to draw people's attention to that you know that you particularly wanted to kind of focus us in on?
I don't have favourites, but I've asked my friends over here and people who are pretty close to me, and so no. They have favourites. I love Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X. Probably that Malcolm X piece over there is probably my favourite one. Yeah, he's just a complete inspiration for me. Yeah, so that piece is my favourite.
After Sister Sana, we'll go into Q&A, so
Okay.
there'll be an opportunity for people to ask you and to comment on your pieces further. Sister Sana, please could you welcome her back to say a few more pieces?